Wes, let's move on to PlayStation. Do you want to say anything about Xbox before we move forward? I should ask you
Nope,
that.
I'm good. Nope, we're good.
All right, PlayStation. Do you feel that Sony is in a good place?
Yes,
Okay.
I do. Sony, my love hate relationship with Sony is weird, but yes, I can honestly say they're in a good place. They locked up a lot of exclusives, which is driving their consoles to sell. Spider Man being a big one, Final Fantasy being another big one. It's Sony did it right. It's they I can honestly say Sony is winning this console wars this generation, hands down.
I would argue with that slightly. Nintendo is winning right now, hands down. PlayStation is definitely in second place. If you're including Nintendo into the list, Nintendo's beating the crap out of
Actually,
a
I,
lot of
I
them.
I wasn't. I was comparing just Sony and
Okay,
Microsoft.
but then yes, you're
Between the
right.
two, yes, the PS5 is outselling the Xbox, not by a little bit, but by a lot. A lot of it has to do with their lockdown of first party exclusives.
Yeah, the best reports from Microsoft are, because people are extracting the numbers any which way they can. In a best case scenario, PlayStation's outselling them 2-1. In the more worst case scenario, it's like 3-1. So yeah,
Mm.
Sony's definitely eating their lunch.
So, I mean, can we see more from Sony? I think so. Their most recent state of play, I was very, eh. I wasn't blown away, but I was like, this looks good. Oh, okay, this looks good. But I wasn't wowed like I was kind of expecting to be.
Okay.
So I don't know. That's my take. What about you?
Um, how do I say this without? I feel like Sony is so close to being on the same position as the PS3, where they're about to just mess up
Mm,
a good thing that they have going. I think financially they're doing let me separate Sony from PlayStation for a second. Sony had like a bad hit to their stock recently. Um, PlayStation is doing well for Sony. PlayStation,
mm-hmm,
they're investing. Jim Ryan left. The head of PlayStation left a few months ago. Hiroki Totoki is taking over, and I don't know that that's for the better because I don't know anything about this guy. But he just had an interview recently, and he was very blunt in his interview. It made me like him quite a bit, honestly. He was kind, but also like kind of cutthroat at the same time. I was like, damn, like this guy's not messing around. And he was talking about his studios, and what he mentioned was he went around to all the studios, talked to
mm-hmm,
different people. He said we have amazing creators, people are doing all this like wonderful stuff. I'm like kind of summing up what he said, but then he was like, what I also learned is that basically he said they have no understanding of finance whatsoever or how to properly run anything like on any sort of budget or in a timely manner. I was like, damn, like
mm.
he like congratulated him on what like the creative aspect, but then he's like, you guys don't know what the hell you're doing, with our money. So I kind of like that about him, but my overall point in it, they just had a change, right? So change means things are going to change differently. Jim Ryan just left. Why did Jim Ryan left? People were confused. Was he let go? Was he asked to leave, or did he leave on his own terms? And it's very confusing as to whether that which scenario occurred. I think they asked him to leave, even though he did a great job marketing the PS5 and getting that sold during COVID. He did a
Mm.
phenomenal job with that. No one's going to argue that. He was a marketer, Wes. That's what he did before then. He knew what he was doing. And now they're like, all right, now we need to get a financial guy in here. You got to go. Like, you don't know what you're doing anymore. Because under him, he's the one who greenlit 10 live service games. 10 out of PlayStation Studios. 10.
Mm.
I think that somebody started looking at the books, looking at how much money these 10 games were going to cost, how much
Uh-huh.
time and all the stuff that was invested, and like, we're never going to get this back. Like, you need one of these to be massive. You need, not want, need one of those 10 games to be massive. If you're going to gamble 10 times, you got to hit it once.
You
Got to.
have to.
Let's say each budget was $200 million, and that's being fair because a lot of
Hmm.
games are like $300 million. Some are $500 million. Wes,
I
you're
believe it.
gambling that over and over again times 10, and none of them hit. You're taking your best studios in the world, making some of like the most beloved games, and getting not all of them. To be fair, they did buy a lot of studios that were making these games, but like Naughty Dog was making a multiplayer game that they wanted to be live service. It got canceled. Probably cost at least $200 million. At least they lost at least $200 million. I guarantee it. Now you bring in the financial guy, clean this mess up. That's what I think happened, personally. But he also has to make the right decisions for the future. They do see the dollar signs on Fortnite. They do need to do that. I'm not saying that they
Hmm.
should pursue those things, but 10, come on, bro. 10?
We talked about the live service, man. It's where everybody's going.
I don't know. I think someone looked at the books and was just like, this this is a huge gamble. Huge gamble. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe one of those 10 hit and it's the next Fortnite. And Sony's just rolling around in money like Scrooge McDuck. I doubt it. I doubt it. So that's where I think Sony's at. I think they're also kind of cocky. They're very quiet. They're not saying shit. The commercials, like, I don't know, man. They just don't. When PS3 was losing, it was so fun to watch, man. They were like a different company, man. They were so energetic about trying to like win people back, and like they were funny, they were
They were.
engaging. I don't know. I like Sony more than they're losing when they were winning, but that's just
They
me.
were.
They were
But
making interesting games too.
but at the same time, like I said, it's like you can't knock their exclusives. You really can't.
No,
I mean, they got that on lock.
Xbox does not have anything even close to as good as God of War Horizon Zero Dawn.
Nope. And then you got
And I
Final
love
Fantasy
Gear.
coming
I
out.
love Gears of War. I love Gears of
Hmm.
War. To be transparent,
But we haven't seen Gears in forever,
Gears 5 was fantastic. I mean, that was probably, oh my God, Wes, was that like 5 years ago? Was it?
if not longer. It's
Dude,
been a minute.
Gears 4 was kind of, Gears 5 was great though. I really loved Gears 5 a lot. But if you were like, would you pick, do you think, I know they're very different games. They're not apples to apples, but if you were like, was God of War better than Gears of War 5? No.
Oh, ooh, yeah. See, I'd have to go yet because God of War was so good.
Oh, wait, I think I said that backwards. God of War was better than Gears of War 5. That's what I
Yes,
meant.
there we go. There we go. Because God of War 1 and 2 were fantastic. Spider Man, so good, so good. Final Fantasy remake, excellent, excellent. And then we get another one. So it's like, and then you know, eh, not counting Horizon, The Last of Us. It's just, I mean, we can go on and on, and there's so many. Ghost of Tsushima.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I mean, Sony's got it right, man. Sony's got the first party exclusives on lock.
But
I
to
wish.
my feelings about all this, Wes, they did. Do they still? If you're
We'll,
investing in 10 online live service games,
we'll see.
that's where I'm at right now with Sony.
We'll see. We'll see.
I don't know. They'll announce The Last of Us 3 next year, and I'll be like, oh, all's forgiven. I forget everything. Just give me The Last of Us 3. I don't care.
I hope they do. I'm kind of excited to play it. I can't wait.
Oh, dude, I'd bet anything. Last of Us 3 is going to be announced within the next, I would
this
say
year?
12. I would say 12 months. Within the next 12 months, they will at least announce it. I'm not saying it's coming out. I'll say there'll be like an image with like a quick 5-second teaser or something like that. But that's going to be announced probably within the next 12 months.
That may be their big announcement for the video game awards this year.
Possibly.
That might be
Possibly.
their big holdout, which is great. I'm curious to see where they could go with it. But then we have Wolverine, which I think is going to be Sony exclusive.
It is.
So it's
Insomniac's making it.
uh, so yeah, man. I mean, I think Sony or PlayStation right now is in a really good spot. We'll see if they can keep up the momentum.
hmm
We'll see.
Other notes I wanted to say was the lack of first party is egregious this entire generation. If you compare it to PS4 and if you compare it to PS3, their output is slowing dramatically. They had Spider-Man 2,
Mm-hmm.
Horizon Zero Dawn, or no, I'm sorry,
Mm-hmm.
Horizon Forbidden West, God of War Ragnarok, West were like 4 years into the console. Oh, Ratchet and Clank.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I didn't write a list. I'm just trying to think off the top of my head, and I mean, it's nothing. One a year. That's not what we got in
Mm.
PS4. That's certainly not what you got in PS3.
Oh, that's for sure.
Totally different company. And I know games are expensive. They're more expensive than ever, and they're taking longer to make. Figure it out. Don't know what to tell you. Don't invest in 10 online service games. Maybe just invest in your single
Mm-mm.
player games. And you know what? Maybe God of War doesn't need to be a 40 to 60 hour game. Maybe it needs to be a 15-hour game or a 20-hour game. And I'd be totally fine with that also.
God of War, I don't care how long it is, as long as the story is good. If it takes me 50 hours to complete the story, give me a 50-hour game.
But Wes, let me just change it just a little bit. What if you got two 25-hour games in 6 years instead of one God of War in 5?
Okay. Point taken.
Yeah, I guess that's about all I have to mention for PlayStation. That was my thoughts and feelings. Yeah, anything else you want to say about PlayStation before we move on?
Nah, we're good, man. So far, Microsoft is not in a good place, or Xbox is not in a good place. Sony, I think we can agree that they're in a good place right
I think
now
they're
for
in a
the
good
moment.
place for now.
For the moment.